Hi all, it's Amanda from Herrick District Library here to teach you today how to make a felt plushie Among Us character with our April Take and Make kit. Your kit is going to include these following items, but you're also going to need some things from home. Okay, you're going to need a black ink pen or a black Sharpie marker, along with a really good pair of scissors and a ruler or just something you can make with a straight edge.
The first step you're going to want to do is cut out the body and the helmet of your pattern. We're going to trace our helmet first. You can use a Sharpie or a black marker or a pen to trace your pattern onto your felt with. So I did 2 helmets. You do not need to do 2. I just did it so you can see the difference between the pen on the top and the Sharpie on the bottom. From here, we're going to start tracing 2 body pieces onto our colored felt. Now that we're done tracing, it is time to cut. On this part, you're going to want to make sure you're cutting outside of the lines. The reason we are cutting around the lines, so making the lines stay and show up, is so that we can have a pattern for when we're sewing. Next, go ahead and cut out the bodies. Here I am putting the 2 body pieces together, and I'm just measuring them up, making sure everything looks pretty even. I have a little spot there that could use some trimming, and a little spot here that I could trim up just a little bit, just to make sure we're all even together. But you're going to make sure that your helmet piece also fits on nice and evenly too. Okay, we're going to take our thread, going to remove the little paper piece from it, find one end and just gently pull, and then we're going to take our helmet, and I'm going to show you how I roughly measure how much thread we're going to need. So I'm going to just loosely put my thread around my piece 4 or 5 times and then trim off. Here we're going to take our top body piece. We just need the one. Ooh, my camera went fuzzy there. Anywho, just going to take the one piece. So you can see one layer here. We're going to put our helmet on top. Line it up best you can. Oh my goodness, I almost forgot to do this part. So we are going to take my ruler here and my Sharpie marker, and we're going to draw a line for the backpack. I just want to make sure I'm doing this now so I don't forget later, like I almost did. All right, now that that line is on there for the backpack, let's go ahead and put his helmet back on. And we are going to get this thread ready to go to thread the needle with. And first I'm going to show you how to knot the thread at the bottom. So I'm going to make a loop. I'm going to put the thread over the other side. So you can see one spot over to the other one. And then we're going to take that little tail and we're going to pull it through that hole and tighten. There you go. Simple little knot. That'll be our little anchor. So go ahead and thread your needle, and I usually like to leave like a couple of inches, give or take, at the end, just so you don't lose your needle. Okay, I'm going to teach you kind of a modified back stitch. We're going to start by putting our needle up at the top between both pieces of fabric, and you're going to want to go right on that black line, or as close to it as possible. Pull your string all the way through, and then poke all the way through the other side. You have your first little stitch right there. And then we're going to skip ahead just a little bit above that first stitch, as you can see right here. And then we're going to pull our string through, and then you're going to want to put it as close to or into that other hole that your string came out of. Mine was really close, but not quite there. And then you're going to keep doing that all the way around. So you're going to skip a little ahead. And you're going to go back to the other hole. There we go. And pull through. And you're going to continue around almost the entire helmet this way. We're going to stop just about the same spot on the bottom that we started at the top. Okay, now that we've gone through about halfway with the helmet, as you can see, we've not stitched over here yet. We're going to tie off, and to do that, we're just gonna slip our needle under one of the stitches, just like so. Pull it through until you have a loop, and then put your needle through that loop and tighten. And then trim your string. You can also do this more than once for stability. Oh, my camera. There we go. But it should be just fine, just like that. All right, for the next part, we're gonna put our two body pieces together. I'm gonna take my extra string and we're gonna loosely measure again around the body. I think I did this one 5 times. Yep, 5 times. And trim. Go ahead and knot that bottom of your thread again. And we're ready to start sewing the body. So I'm gonna start at the bottom of the helmet. First, I'm gonna make sure he lines up all really well. There we go. And for the first stitch though, I'm gonna pull the 2 pieces apart and just put it in between. That way I can hide my string inside of my little character and it doesn't poke out at the back. Just like that. Perfect. But everything else is going to be the same, just like we did the helmet. So we're going to do our first stitch through the 2 pieces there. Pull through. Get stuck on the foot. There we go. And then we're going to skip ahead just a little bit. Go ahead and follow. You're following that black line that we created. So that's that edge. Makes it nice and easy. Pull that yarn through, or string, or thread. And then go back through that other stitch hole that you made. And we're gonna go almost all the way around the entire body. We're gonna stop up by the head so we can stuff his little belly and backpack. And then continue to backstitch more. Here we go. See, it makes a nice line. That's what we want. Okay, I'm pausing here to let you know to go around the backpack at this point. Do not go up that line at all. We're going to continue stitching and going around the backpack. Alright, once we've reached about to this point, we're going to grab our stuffing, our polyfill, and we're going to fill just his little belly and his feet and the little bit of backpack that we have there. I'm bringing in this guy. This is my very first one. I stuffed him completely, and as you can see, he looks a little wonky around the helmet area. He kind of curved and made it look funny. So what I found for the second one is that if we just stuff his belly and the feet and the backpack, it'll still leave that flat look that we want at the helmet area. And now we're going to backstitch the rest of the way, all the way to the helmet. Okay, the reason I paused here again was just to make sure that your helmet is really flat and that you're getting through all 3 layers of the felt at this point as you finish up your Among Us character.
Okay, now that we've sewn all the way around, we're in the home stretch. We're going to tie off our thread by slipping our needle through another stitch, creating that hole, and then pulling our needle through that hole, making a nice tight knot. And you can do this more than once just for some added extra security too. I did notice I have a little bit of an edge right here, so I'm going to take my scissors and trim that up a little bit later. But now we're going to move on to the backpack. We're going to do those same exact steps as we did before. Knot our thread and insert our needle up to at the top, and we're going to do a back stitch right down this line. The tricky part is getting the needle in and kind of pushing that polyfill around a little bit so that you make sure that the polyfill has spots. Oh no, I lost my needle. There we go. Okay, try this again. Needle, thread, insert. There we go. So, as I was saying, just make sure that you get that polyfill into the little backpack area and then sew this right on up. Okay, we're down to our last stitch here. Pull through. We're going to tie off just like we did before. Find a stitch, pull our needle through. Oh, I don't have much thread left. Oh, tiny. There we go. And I'm going to do one more just in case. Just for some extra security there. And then we're going to tie off and cut off when we're done. There he is, our little imposter. Wait, I'm not the imposter. Or am I? Thanks so much for joining me on this craft, friends. I had so much fun making this guy, and I hope you will too. Bye!